They're also going to do third party again. And I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. They have a bunch of sites and bots and other ways of supporting her so far. And that's assuming Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not, because she's also a Russian asset. Yeah, she's a Russian asset. I mean, totally. And so they know they can't win without a third-party candidate. And so I don't know who it's going to be, but I will guarantee you they'll have a vigorous third-party challenge in the key states that they most need it.
Is Hillary Rodham Clinton engaging in her own game of 4D chess? Well, quite a little ruckus was stirred up last week when Hillary Rodham Clinton went on a podcast and referred to Tulsi Gabbard as a Russian asset. In fact, a friend of Russia, whom Russia is openly supporting. Now, the full context of this podcast had to do with what did Hillary see happening, shaping up in the 2020 election cycle. And again, standing by her guns that obviously she lost the election because of external influence, external intervention. Had nothing to do with the fact that she was a horrible candidate. She is a criminal and people don't trust her. And the fact that her own health issues played into the fact she couldn't campaign, and she took certain places like the entire Midwest for granted. It's the Rust Belt. They're Democrats. The union will tell them how to vote. She completely forgot about the fact the union is virtually in the Midwest because the manufacturing jobs at that point had all been sucked out overseas thanks to Bill Clinton's NAFTA. That said, it opened the door for Donald J. Trump to make inroads by actually going to the Midwest and saying, hey, we're going to bring your jobs back. We're going to bring manufacturing back. We're going to get the economy going in the right direction. But of course, no. It was Russia. Russian bots and troll farms that manufactured this so-called enthusiasm for Donald Trump, and that's why she was cheated. But in a clearer context, she was saying the way that Donald Trump beat her in the Midwest was the Russians put up a third-party candidate. In Hillary Rodham Clinton's case, it was Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate of 2016. And had Jill Stein not been in her way, why, she would be sitting in the Oval Office right now. So she was saying that in this next election cycle, the Democrats on their own just can't beat Donald Trump because he's going to get too much help from the Russians, because the Russians know what an awful candidate Donald Trump is, but he's their guy, so they gotta run another third party. And she says that Tulsi Gabbard is that third party candidate.
This is about Hillary Clinton sending a very strong message saying that because I am and have long been calling for an end to our country's foreign policy of waging one regime change war after the next, the likes of which we've seen in Iraq, in Libya, and ongoing in Syria. And because I'm calling for an end to this new Cold War and nuclear arms race, that I am a Russian asset and that I am a traitor to the nation that I love. And not only are they saying that about me, they are basically sending this message out to every veteran in this country, every service member, every American, anyone watching at home who is fighting for peace and who is calling for an end to these regime change wars, this new Cold War and arms race. They are saying that you are also a Russian asset, that you are also a traitor to this country. That's really what's happening here.
Now, here's what I mean about Hillary engaging possibly in 4D chess. She immediately got a huge backlash. She even got backlash from relatively friendly circles like, well, CNN. Van Jones, a very proud supporter of Hillary Rodham Clinton, said, I don't know what she's thinking. She's the lady. She's going to go down in history. Why is she attacking one of her own like this? What is this all about? Well, let me explain some possible theories of why Hillary did what she did, suffering the backlash that she's getting, including now the fact that most of the other candidates, the nominee wannabes in the Democratic National Convention, the clown car known as the 2020 presidential hopefuls, they're coming out and defending Tulsi. You even have conservative media defending Tulsi Gabbard. So why would she do this? Why would she risk this backlash? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, President Trump is really making and gaining incredible ground on the narrative. Enough of these endless wars. You think back to his rally just a few nights ago. It was by far his biggest and his best applause line. Now understand, Nancy Botox Pelosi and that gaggle on Capitol Hill trying to take out the president with this continuing drumbeat of impeachment, 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 impeachment. And I'm not even going to get into all of the Ukraine stuff and the Hunter Biden stuff today. We've covered that ad nauseum. I have other videos on that. Go back and watch those. But every day trying to erode support away from this president. They know that the president is running way too strong on the economy. Again, another jobs report, growth report came out today. Unemployment down to 3%, which statistically means zero. And the fact that more jobs added yet again, and the economy continues to just rock and roll along. So you got a strong economy, and now you've got the president on this drumbeat of bring the soldiers home. So any narratives the Democrats try to throw out there, the economy's bad. No, it's not. He hasn't kept his promises. He's going to bring the soldiers home. He is building the wall. He's got Mexico guarding the border now, and the migration has pretty much stopped. So the only thing the Democrats have right now is impeachment. Over what? They can't even explain what it is. So they're counting on the American people being stupid and just hating Donald Trump so much that whatever spin they try to give you on the fact that you've already read for yourself the transcript of the phone call between he and the president of Ukraine, and there's no there, there's no prid quo quo. She's gambling on the fact that he just might really solidify not just his own base, but reach in and pull Democratic votes and independent votes on this whole bring the soldiers home. So, in a 4D chess move, I have to come out against the candidate that wants to end the war. See, the rest of the Democrats right now think that they have to do everything the opposite of Donald Trump. That America so hates Donald Trump that no matter what he does, you have to do the opposite or you won't garner any support. So they're counting on, hoping that Americans hate Donald Trump so much, the fact that he wants to bring soldiers home, now all of a sudden these dove Democrats want the soldiers to stay. Keep fighting these endless wars. You got Bernie Sanders talking about how foolish it is that we're pulling the troops out of Syria. Wait a minute. Bernie Sanders, the pacifist, wants a troop representation left in Syria? What? Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren? I mean, they're all talking about leaving the troops there, leaving the troops there. Tulsi Gabbard is saying, no, nay, bring them home. This regime change that we have tried, this so-called spreading Americanism by what? Going in and conquering people and telling them, we're going to pick your leader and you will like it. And we're going to show you what freedom is all about. We're going to choose stuff for you and you will like it. And they don't like it. And we've lost American lives. $8 trillion have been spent in the last 20 years on the war with no end. And Trump has said, that's enough. Bring them home. And it resonates with people, and they understand these civil wars, these fractions of religious groups fighting each other over there. No matter which side we pick, no matter whose side we take, number one, we are seen as the outsider, the enemy, the conqueror. Number two, these fractions, they're inbred, they're intertwined, and nobody is clearly our ally. They're all in bed ideologically and theologically with each other, and it's a mess. And Donald Trump has said, enough, we're out of there. And the American people said, we agree. And Tulsi Gabbard has said, yeah. And every time Hillary pulled off a regime change, it destabilized the area. Shazam, Batman. Tulsi Gabbard is 100% right on that. So Hillary, in a 4D chess move, thinking, all right, if Donald Trump siphons off liberal votes, middle-of-the-road, non-committed, undecided voters by pulling the troops back, and all the other Democrats are running on being the exact opposite of Trump, what I will do is I will seemingly disagree and disavow Tulsi Gabbard so that Tulsi automatically gets the sympathy from the media. The other dupes running against her are so stupid and so inept and have no right to even be the nominee. That's why they really need me, Hillary Rodham Clinton, because they're this stupid. They're going to come out and defend her. The media's going to defend her. Hollywood's going to defend her. Everybody's going to defend her because they're going to think, Hillary's just lost it. And now the Democrats who are still anti-war, the middle-of-the-road, the undecided, uncommitted voters, the independents who are anti-war are going to say, let's see, Trump or Tulsi? Tulsi or Trump? Tulsi. She's, I hate to sound sexist, she's good-looking, she's credibly intelligent, she's very articulate, she's a great representation, she has the demeanor of a president. Yeah, her. She can do this. If we throw our weight and our support behind her, she can do this. So that's one 4D chess level that Hillary might be playing here. That by attacking Tulsi, it automatically gives Tulsi sympathy. Sympathy lets her start climbing in the polls, and all of a sudden people start saying, hey, she's anti-war just like we are. She's anti-interventionist. You know what? She's sane. Let's go for her. We haven't really paid too much attention to her until now. Let's go for her. Now, the second thing this could be is that Hillary, fearful that Tulsi could start making inroads and climbing and might actually secure the nomination, well, that would just be, can't have another woman taking the legacy that rightfully belongs to Hillary. And understand, Hillary's going to feel this way until the day she dies. Who is it that you think is all of a sudden now turning the guns and turning the screws on Elizabeth Warren? Who is it that's given the green light for the New York Times and the media to actually really start pulling apart Elizabeth Warren? Where is it all of a sudden now we're getting our hands on video clips and things that had disappeared for 10 and 15 years about how she lied about being fired for being pregnant? Turns out, no, she didn't really want to do it. She really didn't have the education to do it. Who is it that you think is going to expose even more and more how she secured jobs and tenure and financial gig by being an Indian? Claiming Native American status and cheating real Native Americans out of places in college and affirmative action. Where do you think that's all coming from? Hillary. Hillary doesn't want another woman, while she's alive, to have the mantle that in her mind she was robbed of. And see, Tulsi Gabbard, by not being anti-Trump on everything and not being polar opposite Donald Trump on everything, could pull enough Democrats, moderates, independents to not only secure that nomination, but dare say be competitive with Donald Trump. Now, in the long run, we know that can't happen, but this is the warped mind of Hillary Clinton. So she wants to take Tulsi out before Tulsi can actually challenge, and maybe, in Hillary's worst nightmare, a different woman other than her becomes the first female president. So that's chess D number 2. Number 3 is that Hillary is just, absolutely, completely committed out to lunch loon nuts. She sees a Russian behind everything, and now a Russian is trying to launch Tulsi Gabbard. And not because Tulsi can beat Trump, but Trump can't beat the Democrats unless there's a third-party candidate, and this is a gift wrap from Russia. They will do to whoever the Democratic nominee is what was done to Hillary Rodham Clinton, which is create that third party which pulls votes away. The fourth thing this could be, Hillary's running. I know you, every time I say that, you guys argue with me and say, you're nuts. She's running. She's been on The View. She's out there doing all kinds of interviews now. I'm telling you, and we may not hear her say those words until after the first of the year, but I'm telling you, she is gearing up and getting ready to throw her hat back in the ring. And of course, we can't have another woman trying to challenge her for that. So she's trying to pick off the competition before she's officially in. Stop and think about it.
They're also going to do third party again. And I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. They have a bunch of sites and bots and other ways of supporting her so far. And that's assuming Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not, because she's also a Russian asset. Yeah, she's a Russian asset. I mean, totally. And so they know they can't win without a third-party candidate. And so I don't know who it's going to be, but I will guarantee you they'll have a vigorous third-party challenge in the key states that they most need it.
And just remember, even though on this one area we want to defend Tulsi Gabbard, let me give this little warning, this little caveat to all of my brothers and sisters in arms in the conservative alternative media. Be very careful about over-defending Tulsi. Remember, though she's right on this issue, she's wrong on everything else, from the economy, Medicare for all, and you losing your Second Amendment rights. Don't forget that.
In everything we do, we're fighting for the faithful citizens of this country. This includes putting a stop to the catastrophic era of endless wars. Endless wars. They don't stop. They don't stop. They go on forever. American combat troops should not be at the center of ancient sectarian conflicts all over the world. Bring our soldiers back home. Bring our soldiers back home.
Hey, that's it for this rant. I want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please check your subscription status. YouTube has a way of messing with my videos and pulling subscriptions away. If you are a subscriber, thank you. Give us a big thumbs up and a like. Share this to your social media platforms. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and make sure you smack the bell for notification of my next rant.